It can only be attributable to human error.
You're entering paranormal.
He meddled in things that you people. He meddled in
Slug.
things. He meddled in things.
Where will we go next? Just a phantom from another time.
No one, Mr. Mulder.
That's it, man. Game over, man. Game over.
That is one big pile of shit.
Hi everyone, I'm Alex Kaiju,
I'm Jasmine with
I'm Eli Watson.
and you're listening to
Cryptid.
Campfire.
Happy Halloween!
Hello, everyone. Happy Halloween. Or
Indeed.
it's soon to be,
Oh yeah,
if it's not already.
Isn't it it's the week? It's the week of Halloween, isn't it?
It is the week of Halloween, which Halloween is a full moon, right? Which means we're covering, yet again, another werewolf in
No.
this week's episode.
Oh yeah, we're going deep into werewolf lore today. We're revisiting Beast of Bray Road for good measure too.
Could you imagine?
I was gonna say, yeah, it's the week of Halloween. Everyone's getting ready to celebrate. I think we can all be called successfully Halloweenies.
Yeah, I guess today we're just kind of doing a little grab bag episode. Those are
Mhm.
always fun. Just so each of us covered different little topics. Topics that probably could not substantiate entire episodes, nor even tall tales on their own.
Mhm.
So we decided, let's throw them all together. So
Oh
Yeah.
yeah. It's gonna be spine tingling, blood chilling, pumpkin smashing, howling good time. So make sure you turn out the lights, put on a little candle, maybe some spooky music as we begin the spooky cryptid campfire.
yes, let's do it. I'm down for the ride.
Woohoo! And well, I'll go first and set the stage. Well, I wanted to, we mentioned, kind of short, fun topics that might not be for an episode or a tall tale even. And I wanted to bring an urban legend spooky story for today, but not from America. It's a Japanese urban legend.
Oh?
Yeah. So picture it. You're in the dark streets of, a Japanese city. It's late. You're full of ramen, some beer. You're feeling good. You're walking down an alleyway to try to get to your hotel. When you see off in the distance, looks like a pretty lady, if you will. And as you get closer, she's kind of lit, kind of scary style with overhead lights, and she comes up and you see her, but it's 2020, so she's wearing a mask. So she's got the good graces to know good etiquette. And so you walk by and she simply asks you one question. Am I pretty? And you're like, well, I mean, since you asked, you want my opinion. I think, yes, you are a very pretty lady. She says, oh, really? And then she takes off her mask and you can see that she's got a big gaping cut where her mouth is. And she's got her teeth displayed and they're kind of sharp sometimes too. She says, yeah, am I still pretty? And then before you can answer, she pulls out either a knife or a pair of scissors and cuts your face off.
Oh.
And that's how they say hello in Japan.
Oh, jeez.
Good
Um,
lord.
But yeah, that's the urban legend of she's called the slit mouth woman,
Huh.
and it's she's there's stories that she's in alleyways late night, and if she approaches you, her face is usually covered by a mask or a scarf. So ask, am I pretty? If you say yes, she'll pull it down, show that her mouth is all cut up, all crazy like, and it's kind of a lose-lose situation because if you still say yes, she'll kill you. But if you say no, she'll give you the cuts the same way.
So, wow. So what do you do to avoid it? Just run the other way?
Well, that's the thing is, we always talk about, oh man, if you do encounter a cryptid or a monster, sometimes there's ways to save your bacon, if you will. There's two curveballs you can throw her. The first one being she loves hard caramel candy.
Ooh.
So if you have a certain kind, you can throw it in the ground and distract her.
Will she count it?
They don't confirm it, but I would assume yes. Or she says, "Am I pretty?" And you're like, "Well, to be honest, you're kind of average." And that'll fry your brain for a little bit so you can run away.
Oh my.
So, but that's one of those spooky urban legends. And what's interesting is the history of it. I found it's an actual, like, for real urban legend that was started in about the end of 1978. It was in it was a small town, as a farming town of Yoatsu in the Gifu prefecture. And there were stories of a woman with a slit mouth, like in the fields. People reported, but it was only, from what I could tell, it was only really in that region, that little legend, when it started. But as kids started going to school and going out and doing cram schools to get ready for their test, they would share with each other little stories, and then they tracked the urban legend of the slit mouth women moving across Japan to, well, now it's well known.
Oh,
Which is kind of cool.
that is pretty cool.
So that was it's a neat kind of story, but also kind of neat. It's a chartable story. You can see where it originated and how it kind of evolved throughout the years as it took on different storytelling. But yeah, so that was my little spooky story for this spooky episode.
All right. Well, I'll go next then. So Alex actually has two stories that he's going to tell today, but we're going to split them
Ooh.
up, and I'm going to go next.
Yeah, spooky surprise.
So my topic for today was actually suggested by one of our listeners named Harrison Minix. So I'll be talking about wraiths, which, from the info I was able to sort through, it seems there's two basic understandings of what they are. The first one being similar to a doppelganger. So, wraiths were traditionally said to be the embodiment of souls who are either on the verge of death or who have recently passed on. Merriam-Webster defines a wraith as, quote, the exact likeness of a living person seen usually just before death as an apparition. And encyclopedia.com calls a wraith a ghost or ghost-like image of someone, especially one seen shortly before or after their death. So basically what we've got going on here is an omen of death type thing, where if you were to come face to face with your own wraith, it means you don't have much time left.
Uh-oh.
And there are historical accounts of people who apparently did see their own wraith before passing. Among them are Queen Elizabeth I, the poet Percy Shelley, who was husband to Mary Shelley, author of Frankenstein, and Catherine of Russia. And I have each of their little stories right here for me to tell today. So,
drop the juice.
Yeah.
So, Queen Elizabeth apparently saw her doppelganger lying motionless in her bed. It was described as pallid, shivered, and wan. Wan, which basically means pale and weak, typically because of poor health. So, Elizabeth was known to be level-headed, strong of will, savvy, smart kind of person, and she would have known better than to attribute the apparition to spirits and superstition, but she still knew that folklore considered this to be like a bad omen, and only a few days later, she was dead.
Whoa.
Shortly before Percy Shelley died, he had apparently confessed to Mary that he had many times seen his doppelganger. On one such occasion, Percy was strolling on the terrace of his house when he came eerily face to face with his double, who spoke to him, asking, "How long do you mean to be content?"
Wow.
He answered, but it was kind of like an existential crisis question there. In a strangely similar sighting, Percy's friend Jane Williams also seemed to have encountered Percy's spectral twin on the terrace, where she claims to have seen him pass by the window several times, but when she went out to check on him, he had disappeared. And then she was shocked to find out that the real Percy wasn't even home at all at that time.
Whoa.
What in tarnation?
In one of the final instances of, Percy seeing his doppelganger, he claimed to have seen himself on a beach pointing out at the sea. And not long after, Percy did drown in a sailing accident in 1812 at the age of 29.
Whoa, he was a ripe old man.
Oh, really?
Yeah, 29.
Dude, that's pretty early.
I know. And then Catherine of Russia's story is interesting too, because according to this story, she was in her bedroom when some of her servants came to tell her that they had just seen her entering the throne room, even though she had been lying in her bed at the exact same moment. So they were probably pretty freaked out. And so the Empress went directly to the room to investigate the servants' claims. And when they walked in, Catherine saw a second version of herself seated calmly on the throne. And then she actually ordered her guards to fire on the apparition, and the bullets had no effect on the doppelganger. She disappeared with no further recurrences, but not long after, Catherine the Great collapsed and did suffer a stroke. Within hours, she became comatose, and by the evening following the stroke, her reign permanently ended.
Wait, what?
Whoa.
I think Jasmine showed up with the scariest tales of all.
Oh, yeah. That's great. That's wild to walk in and there's your double, like hanging out on the throne. And I wonder if like it wasn't like when there's like it's an evil twin and there's the people on the rooftop with a gun and it's like I don't know who to shoot.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like why do they have to like prove who's the real Queen of Russia?
I don't know. I guess they trusted her because they knew that she was supposed to be in her room and they saw someone else walking into the throne room and they were like, hold on a second. That's not right.
Yeah.
Oh,
Creepy.
weird.
Yeah.
Oh.
So
Oh, I don't like it.
So the belief in wraiths flourishes in Europe mainly, and in Scotland it was believed that the wraith of one about to die might be seen wrapped in a shroud, and the higher the shroud reached, the nearer was the approach of death. Now, the exact origin of the word wraith is not clear. Etymologists can only trace it back to its first use in an English text in a 1513 translation by Gavin Douglas of Virgil's Latin epic poem Aeneid. The Scotsman used the term wraith to name apparitions of both the dead and the living. And in current English, wraith has also taken on additional less spooky meanings as well. It now often suggests a shadowy but not necessarily scary lack of substance. So I'm not done yet because the second sort of wraith that I read about is also kind of like a ghost, but not so much a doppelganger or double. It's more its own being that at one point was human. And when it was human, it was involved in magic and sorcery. Wraiths are said to be created when something went wrong in spellcasting, so this is most often the result of a witch or wizard who tried unsuccessfully to extend the years of their lifespan or tried to manipulate time in some way. So their souls are taken away and they are condemned to never reach the spirit realm, which is a bummer because the spirit realm is often thought to be something similar to heaven in most cultures and is at the very least considered to be an afterlife, but wraiths are denied this privilege and forced to wander between dimensions for eternity. So the description of this type of wraith can also be considered a demon. They're soulless creatures that only feel devastating emotions like hatred and despair. They can appear as dark entities with black cloaks. Arms and legs are usually corpse-like and extremely thin. Face of the wraith is either skeletal or an endless black hole. And there are also legends that say wraiths don't look like anything. They're simply like evil entities that occupy any type of empty space they can find. Inherently evil, they seek to steal the souls of others. With a single touch, the wraith is able to drain the life out of a person, and that person is then cursed to wander the rest of the earth with them for eternity, which is an interesting aspect because it's like, okay, so do they just have like a herd of people following them for the rest of eternity? Like, I know that they might get kind of lonely, but like, do you want that many people around you? Just keep adding to the posse, you know?
Wild.
But there are wraiths that are parasitic but not aggressive. So there are creatures that simply look for a human host to bond with and feed off of their energy. And they just use them to survive. And then they just move on when their host dies. So it's not so much about, I'm taking your soul. It's more like, I need to survive. That type thing.
Like a big ghost tick.
Yeah. And then apparently they can only be defeated by like a holy presence or weapon, you know, like holy water, stuff like that, crucifix, I don't know. In modern times, however, the concept of a wraith is more likely to refer to any type of evil spirit, particularly one which has unfinished business in the mortal realm. They are typically depicted as skeletal figures draped in tattered rags, like I mentioned earlier, and are most commonly associated with graveyards or other howls. And the modern perception of a wraith is that of an entity which actively seeks harm to those that it encounters, no matter their motivation. And that, my friends, is what I learned about wraiths.
Whoa.
It was a little bit hard because there are, it seems to be multiple definitions. Like the word is used to describe a couple different things. I'm not sure which one Harrison might have been suggesting when he reached out, but these are the two that I decided to talk about the most today. There's also some ties to Norse mythology, with a certain type of wraith that is like considered to be a guardian or a spirit warden of some type, but I don't know. It's not very clear in most cases. I mean, the reason that I went with the doppelganger one first is because of the Merriam-Webster definition and encyclopedia.com. So
Yeah.
that's what I went with.
That's pretty cool, though.
Yeah, that's pretty scary.
Yeah, that is. It's like those, weird, dude. Whoa. All right, so sometimes you read those, like, doppelganger stories on Reddit.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's like, are people really just seeing wraiths of themselves?
Ooh.
And you know, because that one story, I think Queen Elizabeth, the one who opened fired.
That was Catherine of Russia.
Catherine of Russia. Yeah. So that means other people can see it too, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So, like, now I want to check up on those Redditors and see if they're still alive.
I know, right? Yeah, there's a lot of story of doppelganger type things. I didn't write it down because it wasn't super tied to the research that I wanted to bring to the podcast today, but like there's stories of people seeing their family members wraith and then like immediately being scared and like having to check in on them and make sure that like they're okay. Oh my gosh, and you know what I just realized? Oh, this is so crazy. It's not actually that crazy, but I'm going to tell the story anyways. So I moved out here to Los Angeles, California about almost 4.5, almost 5 years ago now. And the first time that I visited a home, so I'm from Ohio. The first time that I decided to go back and visit home, I did it as a surprise. And I didn't tell my parents that I was coming, and I enlisted the help of some friends and other people to, you know, get me to my house and stuff like that. But the first person, I got there early in the morning, and I just waited in the kitchen until my family woke up to surprise them. And my dad was the first one to walk out, and like he didn't have a super like uh what's the word I'm looking for? enthusiastic, maybe.
Mhm.
Like he didn't have like a visual reaction. Like he just literally was like, "What are you doing here?" Like that kind of thing. And then he later told me that the reason he didn't like react happily or shocked or anything like that is because he thought he was seeing my ghost. Like his first thought was, "Oh my God, like what's happening?" His
Oh
first thought,
no.
his first thought was not, "Oh my gosh, my daughter came to visit us." It was, "Is she dead?" So
Oh
my.
no!
luckily that wasn't the case. My mom, however, immediately burst into tears when she saw me. So
Oh, that's good.
Oh gosh.
Well, hopefully it's not because she thought you were a ghost. But...
Yeah.
no, she knew it was me. She actually did a double take though, which was kind of funny. She like looked at my dad and then looked at me and then looked at my dad and then looked at me and then cried. But
Oh, a Halloween miracle.
That's a fun story. And then
Yeah.
did you guys go find the Loveland Frogman?
no, unfortunately, we did not.
Darn.
Save that for next time.
But you did see some melon heads.
Yo.
Does my brother count?
Whoa!
Oh! It turned out after a 3-day weekend of looking for the melon heads and not finding anything, the melon heads were us the whole time. Yo, I was gonna say, talking about, you mentioned Percy Shelley, who was the husband of Mary Shelley. Mary Shelley, of course, wrote Frankenstein. So we know he passed away at 29.
Mhm.
But did you know that Mary Shelley kept his heart in a box with her?
I did not know that.
Yeah. She was like, he had the biggest heart I ever knew, and now everyone can see it too.
Wild.
Did you intentionally make that rhyme?
I was trying my hardest.
Wow, bars, dude, bars.
Thank you. Also, that it's crazy to think that Jasmine was saying a wraith is, a wizard who died during a bad spell or something.
Mhm.
And it's like, well, they can't go to heaven, and they're cursed to travel dimensions, almost like a window faller.
Mm.
Oh no.
What if Mothman is the wraith of a wizard?
How did I know you were gonna say Mothman?
He's not just, a man moth. He's the ghost of a man moth wizard.
Dude, yeah. What if he's Merlin waiting for King Arthur to come back, but he got
Oh,
lost?
he got lost along the way. Oh, he's like, you know what? I'm gonna put the Excalibur somewhere where someone will really have to work at to get it, on the top of this nice bridge.
Oh my.
And it wasn't compatible. No. Oh, it all makes so much sense.
I think we're cracking the codes.
Once again.
We're changing the name of the podcast to Cracking the Cryptid Code,
Now on History Channel.
featuring all the best theories thought up by us three.
Yeah, after too much coffee.
Melon heads, Jasmine's brother. Mothman is actually a wizard from ancient England. And what was the Beast of Bray Road is actually a vampire. So
A vampire Bigfoot.
yeah, vampire Bigfoot. Boom. I think we got it.
All right, we're done. Thank you so much. This is the conclusion of Cryptid Campfire. Everybody, thank you. We couldn't have done it without you.
I think it's your turn.
Is it?
Mhm.
Did Alex share his second story?
Oh, is he going after you? Oh, okay.
Ooh,
Alex can go again.
I was gonna say, bam, we got a surprise for you people. You didn't see this coming. I got a second story.
You said you did.
I know, and we're telling it now.
Okay.
Well, this is talking about fun short stories that wouldn't warrant a full episode. I present to you today one of quite possibly my favorite ghost stories of all time. It hails from Japan as well. And today I want to tell you the ghost story of the. Please bear with me. The Shirimi. I believe that's how you pronounce it.
I thought you were gonna say plesiosaur.
Please bear with me of the ancient Japanese ghost story, the plesiosaur.
Well, you said the ancient ghost story of please bear with me. I thought it was going plesiosaur.
Oh dang. Well, that's a topic for another time. This story hails all the way back to the Edo period, which is when the kind of like the samurai times. And this is a ghost story concerning a samurai. And so we open on a long, dark, lonely road, and we follow a traveling samurai. He's walking alone at night, and he sees up in the distance, it looks like a shape kind of coming towards him. And so he slowly approaches the shape, and he sees it's just a normal man walking by. The guy's clothes look a little shabby, a little dirty, but, you know, he's like, oh, whatever. I got other things to do. So they're walking, and right as they kind of get close to each other, the moonlight kind of hits more, the clouds part a little bit, and he sees that the man doesn't have a face. And he's caught off by he's caught off, he's shocked, he kind of goes for a sword a little bit because he doesn't know what to expect. And the man stops, and then this takes place in samurai times, but this also goes for 2020. The man does a big no-no, and he takes his clothes off.
Oh.
And now the samurai's really worried, he doesn't know what's going on. And then the guy does the unthinkable. He turns around, bends over, starts mooning the samurai.
Oh my god.
But in the center of his butt is a big eyeball.
Stop it. Are you lying? What?
And then cut to black.
That's the end of the story?
That's the end of the story.
Wait, what? What happens after that?
I don't know. Do you think he fought the monster? Do you think they had a heart-to-heart about the nature of what makes a man and a monster? We don't know.
You think he just walked away?
You know who we need to consult?
Who?
Ace Ventura.
Yeah, Pet Detective.
Because he talks out of his butt sometimes.
Friends,
So maybe.
Romans, quadrupeds, lend me your rears.
That's so weird, dude. Ew.
Right? Because you think about ghost stories, and you think about, oh, the family that moves into a haunted house and they encounter a ghost, or the urban legend of a guy with a hook for a hand on Lover's Lane. Or now you can think of the Shirimi, a ghost with an eye in his butt that moons people.
So the conversation would go something like, dude, I really like what you have to say. Let me get a good look at you. And he pulls his pants down and just kind of, I don't know, it's going like that?
I guess so. I mean, listen, ghost stories aren't always very well informed.
How do you spell this?
It is Shirime.
Is it one word or two?
It should be one word.
Yeah, I just looked it up because I wanted to see more information about it.
Oh my goodness.
Oh
An
yeah.
eye in the place of his anus. That is
But
funny.
It's one of those. I've known about this ghost story for years.
There's
and
pictures too.
And I just never knew. Well, I was like, I'll tell the story at some point. We'll work it in somehow. And so today's the day, my friends.
Dude, seriously, the people who are seeing this are straight bugging in these photos. They're like, oh. I mean, that's what I would be doing too. I'd be like, first of all, shocked this person is mooning me, but then second of all, that there's a giant eyeball in their butt.
And it says the eye glitters.
Oh my
Yeah.
It's nasty, dude.
Move over, Slender Man. Get out of here, Freddy Krueger. There's a new guy in town.
Dude, honestly, I don't know if I talked about this on the podcast or with someone else in person. I really can't remember, but thinking about Nightmare on Elm Street and Freddy Krueger, like, I think that is the scariest, like, monster movie, horror movie that I can think of. Because I had a realization I have vivid dreams all the time, and sleeping sometimes can be exhausting because I just have so many nightmares and so many dreams. And I'm thinking, if I had a nightmare where, like, somebody killed me and I died for real, or, like, it was a threat of that, like, dude, I don't know. This year I realized how scary a Nightmare on Elm Street really is.
Oh, dang.
I've
Yeah.
yet to watch it.
Ooh, check it out. It's good. Wes Craven.
Honestly, I haven't watched it for a really long time, but yeah.
Ooh, Johnny Depp's in it.
Mm-hmm. I remember that scene.
Yeah.
Johnny Depp. Speaking of Johnny Depp,
Hmm?
he should have been in that movie, The Nun. But anyway, I don't know. I
He
was
should
trying to
have been
tie
The
it
Nun.
in, but yes, I was so inspired by our last week's conversation at the end of the Beast of Bray Road episode about the Conjuring movies
Yeah.
that I decided to extend that a little bit into the real world. And that makes it sound like I'm going to cover a lot of, the cool stuff in the Conjuring movies, like perhaps the Annabelle doll. You
Ooh.
know, do not get your hopes up. I'm actually not going to cover that right now. What I am going to cover is The Nun, or I guess its real life counterpart. It's a entity known as Valak, and this has actually a good number of spellings. Pretty much anything you can think of under the sun is how you spell this. So, but the way I've seen it most commonly spelled is Valak or Volac. So, where did the inspiration come from? Is this just some Hollywood nonsense? Nay way, Jose. It is not.
Oh.
Uh,
Whoa.
Instead, it is some other nonsense. Um, so it comes from a book known as the Lesser Key of Solomon. So this is like a 17th century textbook on magic. It kind of lays out the hierarchy of hell and whatnot. And I think Aleister Crowley had his own hand in helping publish it in the early 1900s.
Whoa.
So there's a whole bunch of weird things going on with this book. It's got all sorts of weird, symbols in it, all sorts of weird names, so it's perfect, for horror movies to just kind of draw inspiration from. If you ever saw that movie Hereditary, the name Payman also comes from the same book.
Oh.
Yeah. So in the book, The Lesser Key of Solomon, oh, I should also note, it is like, going to try to say this large word, pseudo-epigraphically attributed to King Solomon of the Bible. I'm pretty sure that King Solomon did not write this book,
Yeah.
as this book is dated from the 17th century, and King Solomon, I'm pretty sure, lived a long time before that.
Yeah.
So,
He was too busy trying to cut babies in two.
no, was that not King David? No, that was King Solomon, wasn't it?
I think so, right?
Yeah, but he didn't try to do it. He just suggested it.
I mean, hey, it was kind of boring that day.
Anyways, so in this book, it lays out the names of 72 demons in a sort of, hierarchy. It gives them all the ranks and whatnot. So number 62 is our boy Valak.
Listen,
And-
I'm not trying to befriend any demons, Eli.
Oh yeah, okay. So not our boy, not our boy.
But he's number 62 on the get to know your fellas of hell.
Right. So it lists him as president. President of what? I could not tell you. Um, so here we go. I actually pulled up the entry in the book, The Lesser Key of Solomon, because I have a PDF of it, and I don't know why, but I do. So
Okay.
I've
It's like
had
that.
it.
It's that YouTube album that just keeps popping up on iTunes. It's the Lesser Key of Solomon keeps popping up in Google Reader.
Well, yeah. So it's literally just a paragraph, and this is what we know. So 62. The 62nd spirit is Volak or Valak or Valu. He is a president, mighty and great, and appeareth like a child with angel's wings, riding on a two-headed dragon. His office is to give true answers of hidden treasures, and to tell where serpents may be seen, the which he will bring unto the exerciser without any force or strength being by him employed. He governeth 38 legions of spirits, and his seal is thus. And it has a cool little, seal that says Valak on it.
Whoa.
It's got this little picture of a, naked baby with wings riding a two-headed dragon.
Oh dang.
Yeah.
Talk about an album cover.
Yeah, that's Led Zeppelin, baby.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, and just to, fill up the time, I think I'm going to read the entries of all other 71 spirits. Just kidding.
Sorry, number 1, Beelzebub.
Yeah. I don't know. They all have like these cool little pictures
Mm-hmm.
attached. Like the next one is like some owl-headed dude riding a what looks like a black shuck, and he's
Oh
got
shoot.
wings, and he's got a big old sword. His name's Andros, but
Oh hey.
do you know?
Andros. Oh, I was gonna say Andros is used for the final boss name in Star Fox games.
Oh, really? How's it
Yeah.
spelled?
It's Andross.
Oh, different
Oh.
spelling. This is Andras. Andros.
Mm. Well, I wonder if they got the idea for the name
I mean,
because
it's possible.
in Star Fox, you fly around, you fight stuff, and the final boss of the game is a big monkey head with severed hands,
Oh my.
and you got to shoot his face off and reveal his brain.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That sounds violent.
Oh, it's cool.
Yeah, I mean, so basically, that's what we know about this entity, whether it be real or not. I don't know. I'm not going to, you know.
Yeah.
It is discussed in the Conjuring movie. No, The Nun. It's discussed in the Nun movie. I
Mhm.
think there's a seal. I think they used the same seal that's in the Lesser Key of Solomon in the movie. I could be wrong. But, the whole point of it appearing as a, nun, it's not true.
Yeah,
It's not real.
it should have been. Could you imagine if it was like they're like, "Oh, we got to confront the beast." And then it's just like a baby with angel wings on a big dragon. And it's like, "Oh boy, get the holy hand grenade and the swords. We're going to conjure the end of this movie, baby."
Dude, yeah, I don't know. It's got cool powers, like I said, it can control, serpents. It can
Mhm.
give you answers to hidden treasures.
Ooh,
Who needs a
yeah.
who needs a treasure map when your boy is Valak, dude?
Yeah. I got to find this Geo box and I got to find it now.
Hey, he'll be able to tell you.
Yeah, I can tell you if there's any snakies in the area too.
Snakies. Yeah, but I mean, that's probably the most notable appearance, but it does make another appearance in a video game known as Bloodstained Curse of the Moon,
Ooh.
and it is the fourth boss.
Mm-hmm.
Um, that's all I know about that. see. I'm looking up a picture. I just wanted to see what it looks like. Oh, it's like a giant dragon. It's just a giant dragon with the name Valak.
Mm-hmm.
There's no naked baby on top of it,
they couldn't get the rights.
I guess. Yeah, I don't know. It's interesting. Kind of.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. It kind of freaks me out learning about this stuff, but whatever. I did it.
Oh, I mean, what's it like to be able to read like a forbidden tome, the lower key of Solomon, in a nice PDF file?
Yeah, I don't know. This like I said, I think Aleister Crowley helped publish it like mainstream. Let's see.
Mhm.
This is what it says on the cover page. It says the Goetia, or the Lesser Key of Solomon the King. Translated by Samuel Liddell McGregor Mathers, edited with an introduction by Aleister Crowley, illustrated 2nd edition. Ooh. Yeah, but like the first page is like some creepy drawing with like Latin writing, which I think,
Ooh.
yeah, it's a self-portrait of Aleister Crowley. What in the world? Oh, evoking the spirit payment to visible appearance. Dude, what? That's not okay, dude. Why do I
Where did this come from?
dude, dude, it's creepy. What's going on? It's like riding a camel. I don't know. Okay, well,
You've
that's enough of
stumbled on
that.
something scary. Something spooky, if you will.
But that's all I have.
Mm-hmm.
And I hope you enjoyed the Spooktoberfest.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah. Kind of fun, get together, talk about some weird spooky things for this spooky week.
Yes.
And yeah, I mean, I don't know what else to say, but I know we'll go into our closing comments, but I want to leave this episode with a quote from one of the greatest horror authors of our generation, R.L. Stein. And in the immortal words of R.L. Stein, boo dudes.
Did you see the Goosebumps movie?
I see them both.
Oh man.
Jack Black's finest work.
Was a quality cameo too.
Yeah.
With that, I guess, if I want to find out more about the greatest author of our generation, how do I follow the guy who knows the quotes off the top of his head, Alexander Daikaiju?
Ooh, that's me. Smooth sailing, buddy. You can find me on Instagram and Twitter at AlexDaikaiju, Alex Daikaiju. I post a lot of monster and cryptid related art on my Instagram, so be sure to check that out. And I don't know if you guys want to do sources today.
Yeah, I might as well. I was gonna list mine.
Yeah, I used, of course, the Dreadnought Wikipedia. I used it is JapanYugen.com, and I used Nippon.com for my sources for those crazy Japanese ghost stories. And in the spooky season, they say if you stand in a dark room and say Pedro Pascal 3 times, Jasmine Mayweather will appear and tell you all about her Instagram and Twitter.
I met Pedro Pascal once, so it was great.
Oh, spooky.
You can find me on Instagram and Twitter as well. My name is the same on both. Jasmine Maywith, JasmineMaewith. I did use Merriam-Webster, mythology.net, encyclopedia.com. I did use the Monster Wiki, Encyclopedia Britannica, a website called Martian Herald, and the Confessionals podcast.
Mm.
Ooh, sounds pretty spooky. And we regretfully inform you, ladies and gentlemen, there's a maniac on the loose with a hook for a hand. He's been sighted in the area. More news will come. But in terms of a different maniac who's got hands full of knowledge from all these crazy books, it's the Eli Watson.
Hello, it's me, Eli Watson. You can follow me on the Instagrams at the Eli Watson. And my sources for today come from Wikipedia, which basically told me to read my second source, which I did. The Lesser Key of Solomon. I think I just translated by these people. Translated by Samuel Liddell McGregor Mathers, edited with an introduction by Aleister Crowley. I highly recommend it. It's got creepy drawings. Maybe actually, I retract that statement. I do not highly recommend it. It is it's interesting. It's of interest. Take note.
It's got spooky Latin in it.
In creepo drawings, dude. What's going on, dude? But if you dig the podcast, please let us know. Leave a review. Subscribe. Tell your friends about us. Check us out on the social medias at Cryptid Campfire. That's Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. For all three, it's the same, at Cryptid Campfire. Check us out on our website, cryptidcampfire.com. We have some interesting articles. We got all of our episodes on there. We got snazzy t-shirts for you to purchase and enjoy and wear on your bodies.
Oh yeah.
And if you still can't get enough of us, join our Patreon page, where for $5 a month you get access to exclusive episodes and other content, such as a free wallpaper every single month. Well, it's free if you join for $5 a month, but you get a wallpaper every month designed by Alexander the Kaiju.
It's true. And this month I had the spooky vibes going.
Oh, yes. It's pretty snaz. I really like it. And you also get access to all the previous wallpapers that have been released. So I hope you all enjoy.
Yes, please. And thank you for tuning in, everybody, for this spooky time around the campfire.
We'll catch you next week with something, gravy.
Happy Halloween. Please celebrate wisely and responsibly.
Wow. Sounds like a drinking commercial. All right, everyone. Good night.
Bye.
This podcast is a part of Straight Up Strange Productions. Discover more shows like this one at straightupstrange.com.